My name is Jason Jones, and I shoot still photographs and I produce videos for educational marketing. I don't need to sell you on the importance of video as at least a component of your marketing strategies. I mean, we're all a little numb at this point from hearing these sorts of statistics, but indulge me for just a moment. YouTube boasts over 1 billion users who are on the channel at least once a week. It reaches the 18 to 34-year-old demographic more effectively than cable TV. 71% of marketers say that video content outperforms all other content when looking at conversion rates. Today, more video content is uploaded every 30 days than the major US television networks created in the past 30 years. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it, as opposed to something like 10% when they read it. Merely mentioning the word video in an email subject line results in a 13% increase in click-throughs. So we get it. Whether it's on social media, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, people, especially young people, but really most people, like to look at pictures, and they like the pictures to move. I'd like to show you some pictures that move, videos made by myself and others from around the world, some good, some less good, and some considerably less good. Let's begin by looking at a project from a Canadian school that just completed a total rebrand, including a name change from the University of Ontario Institute of Technology to Ontario Tech. Here's the video that initially announced that change.
What I like best about the new brand is that it's really modern, it's easy to say.
They're a very timeless design. I really think the new look is unique and kind of modern.
Fresh.
Modernized.
It's fresh and exciting, but it also pays kind of a tribute to the previous logos.
So we were called in by the new director of Marcom to see what we might do to shake things up a bit with this announcement. He wanted more of a student-centric video, specifically targeted to a 17 to 24-year-old audience. Fast cutting, music that propels you forward, and maybe most importantly, something that his smart, media-savvy kids wouldn't think was dumb. Student voices, faculty voices, and a whole lot of the new logo.
One of the cool things about going here is that when I get up in the morning, I know something's gonna surprise me.
It's not like any place else.
Seriously, how many universities have the latest tech in every program?
The professors are the best, not just in research, but in industry as well.
At this university, students are taught by senior faculty members who've been at this gig for a long time, who are very experienced in teaching and also excellent researchers. You combine that with the small class size and you've got something special.
My friends and I just end up hanging around here.
There's so many clubs here on campus.
There's everything from rowing to anime.
It's awesome.
I came from Toronto and I didn't know what to expect.
Oshawa turned out to be pretty cool.
It's great.
I think the coolest part of being an athlete here is how young the school is. You know, you look at a lot of other schools that we play against and they have such a deeper history than us where we're making history.
I'm now working for the Canadian Olympic Committee, and it's all because of the opportunities I've had right here.
The most important thing for me is building a sense of community in my classes. Every week, my students show up to class expecting to have fun.
There's a difference between science and technology. While science is this pursuit of truth, technology needs a conscience, and that's something we strive to provide at Ontario Tech.
As a researcher at the university, what's really exciting is that when a student comes to us with a dream project, we can really make it happen.
My partner and I are the world champions of Microsoft's 2018 Imagine competition because we developed a robotic prosthetic hand that's not only the most powerful hand that the market has ever seen, but it's the most affordable so that the people who need it have access to it.
If you've got an idea and it takes technology to make it happen, you've got to be here.
I was on a higher ed podcast called 31 Minutes a couple of months ago, and one of the questions I was asked was, does worthwhile video always need to be shot and produced by outside professionals? And while I have a vested interest in saying yes to that question, the real answer is that it totally depends on the video, the audience, and the message. What student photographers and less experienced staffers can offer to this process is authenticity, that kind of direct, honest approach that kids their own age are likely to believe and buy into. If the goal of a video is to create some buzz, generate some new interest, call attention to an event or a department on campus, then a student-generated piece might be perfect. This is one such video from Roanoke College. But on the other hand, it is possible to kind of misdirect a video to an audience. The kind of audience that's used to relatively fast cutting, up-to-date music, lots and lots of stimulation on the screen and in their ears. This piece from Briarcliff University, I think, gets a number of things wrong. Now, this is a couple of years old, but a prospective student viewing this video online, as I did a couple of months ago, is going to find it very slow, very plodding, guided by a narrative voice that's probably not the right voice for this audience, etc. See what you think.
Hi, and welcome to Briarcliff University. Academics are the cornerstone of your college experience. And with over 30 areas of study, you'll find the degree you seek at BCU. Sit in a class like this as you pursue business, accounting, or environmental science. Or get hands-on in the digital media lab if you're pursuing journalism, mass media, or graphic design. The 27-inch iMac computers are equipped with the latest Creative Suite software. Nursing students practice simulation in a state-of-the-art lab that provides career preparation for life after the cliff. Chemistry and biology students at BCU get a competitive edge working in the newly renovated science labs. Access to specialized equipment means our students get exposure to graduate-level techniques as an undergraduate. Relax after class or recharge on the way. The revamped Java City Coffee Shop is conveniently located in the Heelan Hall atrium. It's a great place to study, catch up with friends, or just hang out between classes. Exercise your musical talents with chamber choir or cliff singers in the 150-seat Mies Recital Hall, which houses not one, but 2 Steinway grand pianos. Briarcliff focuses on the spiritual life of its students by integrating faith and academics. The Chapel of Our Lady of Grace is where the campus and members of the community worship. The Bishop Mueller Library houses more than 100,000 print and electronic resources. And whether you're looking for a place to spread out and do research, or just a quiet place to get away, the Bishop Mueller Library is your place to do it. While you're here, it's important that you feel like you're at home, because you are. Find solitude in the comforts of your room, or meet up with friends from your residence hall in one of our cozy lounges. So no matter what you want to do in life, who you want to be, or whatever your passion is, Briarcliff University wants to help you chase your dream. I hope you've enjoyed our tour today. We'd love to meet you in person next time. Contact our admissions department and schedule a visit today. See you soon.
It's a list of places and programs, but nothing in it makes me want to be in those places or those programs. So that is, I think we can safely say, kind of low concept, right? Just show the mortar and the bricks. Here, on the other hand, is a short film that is extremely high concept, a video by 160/90 for the University of Oregon.
What if? there was no if, I'll tell you this, everything would be less bright, and less green, and less bright green. That's because, deep in the woods, if sparks a revolution with a waffle iron. If hangs with Nobel and Guggenheim, and is cracking this kind of code and that kind of code. If makes you want to shout. If breaks down barriers, doesn't work alone, and is absolutely contagious. If walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and goes for it on 4th down. If doesn't care about yesterday, can talk to fish, and is running a play while the other team is catching their breath. Just 2 simple letters, right? Wrong. If sleeps never and goes for extra credit. If searches and researches and shows up when you least expect it. If is cloning stuff. Can you really do that? Just did. If is a merry prankster who wants to get in your head. If opens doors, knows this guy is still undefeated, and is always up for a little liquid sunshine. It all starts with if. Because if becomes when, and when becomes now, and now becomes how, and how becomes wow. If will change your stance, if will change the game, if will change the world. We know, because if is what we do here. We, if, at the University of Oregon.
Wow, now that's high concept. I mean, almost too high concept? The agency did get in some difficulty after releasing this because the faculty just went nuts. Too much concept, not enough about their actual programs and facilities. So there's a range here. You really do need to consider what kind of experience you want the viewer to have. What students and inexperienced staffers are unlikely to be able to offer, frankly, is the deeply felt, deeply seen telling of a story, a school's story. Its vibe, its promise, the struggles and successes of its students, their teachers. When a bright, talented kid goes to your website or your YouTube channel or opens your viewbook, she's not just looking for giggles or a measured inventory of your facilities. If you want to convey a sense of commitment, of mentorship, of growth, of failure, perseverance, and ultimate success, you're not going to do it with some footage of a bunch of kids holding balloons grinning into the camera. I want to show another way of depicting a campus and its ethos. This next film, which was produced in-house at Cornell by some very experienced staffers, plus one of the best drone pilots in the country, is another example of the idea that an admissions video doesn't have to happen at breakneck speed or have a deafening soundtrack to be effective. It just has to describe the fabric of a community in a way that's thoughtful and meaningful and smart.
Coming here, sometimes you think you know everything. Cornell quickly teaches you that you don't. And I think it's a beautiful struggle we have as human beings, wanting to know so much about the world around us, to be hungry for knowledge.
Being a critical thinker, knowing what questions to ask, knowing how to write a story, those are all skills that I honed at Cornell.
As Cornell said, I would found an institution where any person can receive instruction in any study is something that's very much alive day to day here.
Being in a classroom environment where you get all of those different perspectives.
When we teach, we are enabling rather than teaching facts.
I'm walking around this campus, and while I'm studying philosophy or creative writing, there's somebody taking an industrial labor relations class. There's somebody doing veterinary medicine. There's somebody working on architecture, all right here.
When I teach, one of the things that I hope my students get is this curiosity that drives us.
The difficult questions, those are the ones that are most worth pursuing.
I met people from all over the world, people of all different backgrounds.
The gorges, the waterfalls. To me, the campus is a metaphor for never-ending processes of evolution, transformation. Novelty is always around the corner.
It's an elite school, but it's an inclusive school at the same time, and it lacks the sort of pretentious air of other elite institutions, and I think really gives it a distinctive identity, a distinctive culture that I find very appealing.
This is a very tightly knit community of collaborative, interacting people.
Cornell giving you the tools to be able to develop a career based off of something that you really, really love and be successful at that, that's really the best. It's like, what else could you ask for?
There's always an opportunity to challenge oneself physically, socially, or intellectually.
What we learn here and what we do here and what we discover here is much bigger than ourselves.
Everywhere you turn, you find people doing stuff that's just at the cutting edge of what humanity is achieving.
There's a special connection between me and every single student on campus because they're a part of the Cornell family, and that's what I'm a part of.
That kind of learning that combines the world and the best of the academy is truly exciting and transformative.
I'm thinking of all these Cornell experiences, meeting and making some of the best friends of my life.
To the Sweet 16.
I'm always going to be a Cornellian, and that's something really special.
Elite and egalitarian. I'm just so proud to be part of the Cornell story.
We all want what we're sending out into the world to be that good, right? We want it to guide and inspire some hopeful kid. And doing something thoughtfully, keeping your audience and your message in mind, doesn't need to be expensive. It just needs to be careful, deliberate, thought through. Something more than checking off boxes. Chem lab, check. Athletic shot, check. Dorm room, check. Drone shot, check. We've got our video onto social media. For a couple of years now, we've been tacking on to a normal still photo shoot or a video shoot a little extra time to do website landing page clips. They don't add a lot of cost to the budget, and they can make a much bigger positive impression on a first-time visitor to your website than a single static photograph. They're easy to shoot because once you're set up for the still shot or the motion clip or whatever you're there for, you just figure out a way to create a little 10-second haiku of whatever it is that's in front of the camera. It's easy. Now, of course, quality is a consideration. A series of lousy loops on a landing page is probably not better than a single amazing photograph. But all things being equal, data shows that people are more apt to pay attention to a site and have a positive impression of that site when it stimulates them visually. Video can increase landing page conversion by 80% or more. A website is 53 times more likely to reach the front page of Google if it includes video. So, to switch gears here and take an entirely different approach to thinking outside the campus tour video box, here's a piece we produced a couple of years ago where the students speak entirely for themselves. There's very little B-roll. It's really just about the kids talking about their experience.
I'm going to produce films in Hollywood.
I'm going to teach economics in Africa.
Diversity here is just
I'm going to be a district
foundation
attorney
of the Christian values.
Maybe I'll be president. Our campus, it's New York City.
Small school in the midst of a big city.
New York City.
I chose King's because it is in New York City.
King's is a funny story, actually.
I came here, just because it was really the only college that I applied to, and I didn't want to write any more essays,
I went to...
It's really lucky that I did come here because it's the best college in the whole world.
King's, why I got here is a funny story.
Only here can I read something about a work of art for one of my classes and then go to the Met and see it the next day.
My favorite thing about the city has to be the lights.
Only in this city can I help produce an off-Broadway play.
I came from a very small high school, and this was exactly what I was looking for to prepare me for anything that comes down the road.
Sit in the studio audience of people I've been watching ever since I was a kid. While going to a small liberal arts college where I'm reading the best books anyone has ever written, they're going to try and make my brain explode.
I was a little afraid of New York, the city, but what I found was New York, the collection of towns and little corners that I could find myself in and find peace in. The coffee shop down the road, the park bench, the walkway along the water. And that's really what changed it for me. That's what made New York City less of a city, more of a home.
To sum up King's in one word,
opportunity.
Now, students sharing their experience can be a really effective way to reach undecided people their age, provided those viewers can relate to the faces and voices on the screen. And if you've done your homework and chosen carefully the individuals that are representing your school, they probably can. But one method of skirting this issue entirely is to have pictures, text, and music drive the bus without the addition of on-camera speakers or a voiceover narrative. Here's a video from the UK that makes use of text with real humor and creativity. This is from the University of Sussex. One of the great things about videos like this is that they can work with or without sound. Since 85% of Facebook users typically watch videos with the sound off, that's a consideration. The reality is that films like these can be used in a variety of soundless settings, in addition to Facebook and social. They can be displayed in a continuous loop on huge screens in the Student Center, as is the case here at Anderson University, or on a display in the admissions lounge. They can be easily adapted to create really short bits like the 15 and even 6-second clips that are common increasingly on social media. And they work in one of the arenas we've been shooting a lot for in the past few years, the Cineplex, where a 15 or 30-second spot can be purchased for pre-show viewing in the company of the specific feature films that are most likely to appeal to the demographic you're chasing. Here are a couple of pieces we did with Cineplex viewing in mind.
It's not just a place.
It's a state of mind.
The University of Windsor is opportunity.
Is a community. Is empowering.
Resilience.
Is transforming. Compassionate.
Our home.
I am.
Windsor proud.
We're Windsor proud.
All these examples really focus on kids thinking about college, traditional undergrad prospects. So what might be the differences between these approaches and a video intended for grown-ups, people who are looking at a second career or a graduate degree? They aren't seeking excitement or camaraderie. They're not looking for what's cool. They want to improve their lives. So in pitching to these folks, you want to emphasize the value of the enterprise. A noble history conveying tradition and accomplishment, coupled with a sense of the most up-to-date facilities or methods. Here's a short film narrated by the president of Olivet Nazarene, promoting their online EDD program. I wrote a calmer musical score and used a more relaxed approach to shooting and cutting, appropriate for a more serious endeavor.
In 1907, a small group of men and women in central Illinois who were determined to build a better life for their families and community dreamed a big dream, and Olivet Nazarene University was born. I'm John Bowling, president of Olivet. Today, some 112 years later, on a campus with 5,000 students, 140 areas of study, and more than 50,000 alumni around the globe, that founding vision of Olivet Nazarene University lives on. However, our focus is not on what was or what is. Rather, we're looking forward to an unfolding future of continued growth and service. With that in mind, we are pleased to offer a fully online Doctor of Education in Ethical Leadership degree from Olivet Nazarene University. Uniquely designed for the professional, this online degree from Olivet combines the stability of a century-old institution with today's thought leaders and global professionals. Students are connected to a national network, a community of leaders and learners, which utilizes a curriculum built on the best that has been thought and taught about leadership, management, strategy, ethics, and problem solving. With individualized research and mentorship, the online EDD from Olivet, which can be completed in less than 3 years, is the ideal next step for any professional interested in leading more effectively in business and technology, government, healthcare and human services, education, media and communication, the arts, the sciences, or the church. I invite you to be part of this innovative doctoral program where knowledge, faith, and wisdom intersect with skill and leadership to initiate growth and progress in your world. The online EDD at Olivet can provide you with the credentials, learning, and experience that will enable you to become a transformational leader for an ever-changing environment.
So that's a roundup of some different types of videos. Let's move on to some best practices. 1. When you're shooting interviews, think about using 2 cameras. If you set up one camera with a medium shot, kind of head on, you can position a second camera at an off angle, maybe a bit closer. There are 2 good reasons to use this second camera. One is that viewers are used to visual stimulation. They expect things to keep changing. A talking head will generally slow the pace of any film, and having just one static frame can make even a relatively short clip seem pretty long. The other good reason to have a second angle is that it allows you to cut seamlessly from part of one sentence to part of another sentence without that jarring jump cut that occurs when you simply cut out the section you don't want. 2. Make it brief. 20% of your viewers, according to Ad Age, will click away from a video in 10 seconds or less. 33% of viewers will stop watching after 30 seconds. 45% by 1 minute, 60% by 2 minutes. I have clients all the time who want to talk about a 4-minute film or a 6-minute film, and there are some stories that are so big, so complex, that you can keep a viewer interested for a longer period if you tell it well. But for the most part, there are 3 kinds of people still watching your movie after 120 seconds. The ones that are in it, the ones that made it, and the ones that paid for having it made. Everybody else has already hit that next button. 3, use drone shots sparingly and follow the same guidelines as shooting any other kind of exterior. Don't shoot outdoors in the middle of the day. Don't shoot flat light with the sun behind you. For one thing, the shadow of the drone usually shows up. Don't shoot without at least some hint of human activity. Aerial footage has become achievable in the last couple of years, and it surely can be a useful tool. But it's gotten to the point where just about everybody is using drone footage, which means that what used to be kind of unique and magical has become pretty commonplace. Shooting at the wrong time of day, shooting with the sun to your back, shooting scenes absolutely devoid of humans, there are a lot of good ways to get lousy aerials. Having said all that, good drone footage used sparingly and in the right place and for the right reasons can surely be worth the trouble. There's something so evocative, so satisfying about seeing that world of yours from a distance in just the right light, full of energy and potential, that jumping through the hoops required to do it legally and safely and aesthetically can be a small price to pay. Four, change it up. Too many drone shots, too much reliance on slow motion, too many time lapses. All these techniques can be useful, but if they're used with too much repetition, they can easily become kind of stultifying. Take slow motion as an example. It can look cool and really cinematic, but it can also make a campus look kind of sleepy. And none of them replaces a clip that goes to the heart of a person, a discovery, a moment of truth, an aha moment. They just complement those epiphanies and keep things visually interesting. 5, maybe most important of all these best practice considerations is this. Don't shortchange the process of casting, of determining who's going to be in the shoot, whether it's a still shoot, a motion shoot, whatever. I have clients that delegate the job of choosing students to a person who delegates it to a person who has absolutely no stake in the outcome of the project. Or they just post a sign-up sheet and hope for the best. It's crazy. Who you end up with are the students who have nothing else to do, so they show up for your shoot. Remember, this is about inspiration. It's about aspiration. It's about allowing a 17-year-old or a 30-year-old, for that matter, to dream, to identify with a student who's found his or her passion and is building a life around that passion at your institution. I have a client in the Midwest who will, for a typical 2-day video shoot, have 200 students scheduled, and they're really good. One of the things he understands is that to get the best people involved, you have to make them feel chosen. If they feel like they're doing you a favor, you're done. They need to feel like they were picked and that they're valued. Here's what he sends out once they've gotten his original "You've been nominated for the video shoot" email and have accepted the invitation. What you must wear. This is major, like the most important thing you may read. You must wear something of a substantial color. Not black, not white. If you wear black or white, we will scream and then ask you to change. Okay, we may not scream, but we will ask you to change. Those colors do not photograph well. Plaids are great. Stripes are fine. Color is what we want. Lots of color. Did I mention we want you to wear color? And not gray or olive green. Color. What you must not wear. This is a video shoot to promote Olivet University. So don't wear a Purdue sweatshirt or a Michigan sweatshirt. You get it, right? Olivet logo attire is fine, but this isn't an ad for the bookstore, so be sure to bring another option just in case everyone shows up in the latest ONU swag. What to bring? Stuff. You absolutely must bring stuff. Your backpack, your laptop, ball caps, hats, actual books that you're reading or supposed to be reading, iPads, headphones, skateboards, bicycles, water bottles, your musical instrument, in its case, a football, your soccer gear, cups of coffee. Bring it with you. I hear all the time, we aren't allowed to give them gift cards to Starbucks. We aren't allowed to pay them in any way. Okay, if that's really true, that's unfortunate. But what everybody can do is bring coffee and donuts to the 8 a.m. shoot. Bring some snacks to the mid-morning shoot. Have some soft drinks or whatever around in the afternoon. It's not the cost, it's the message. You're saying to the whole community, this is a big deal. These videographers are really good at what they do, and you are who we want to feature. Go out of your way to track and select the interesting, active kids. Word gets out. And what used to have a kind of stigma, video shoots are basically for losers, begins to have a bit of glamour. Video shoots are pretty cool. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to direct and produce a 250th anniversary film for Rutgers, and got to work with the notorious RBG at the Supreme Court for a couple of hours. We had the guy who invented Bed Bath & Beyond, and the highest-ranking woman in the U.S. military, and the guy who invented GMO food, and Natalie Morales at the Today Show, and this amazing kid that you're about to meet in the next film. I guess the main thing that attracted me to shooting in higher ed, and which continues to, is that I meet the most remarkable people every single day of my working life. Faculty people with brilliant minds and imaginations, kids who are just so inspiring and quirky and funny and great. You have some amazing people in your midst. Smart, funny, imaginative, passionate, committed. Find them and use them to tell your amazing story. I'm going to close with the Rutgers anniversary film. This is the last few minutes of our revolutionary spirit.
I come from a multicultural family. You get us together and no two people look alike. I love that. And that's what Rutgers is like. This university is diverse. It's real. It's exciting and colorful and alive. And it really prepares you for life. I took a leadership course and it changed my life. It made me realize you really can do anything. It's up to you. So I started a nonprofit, and now we host open mic nights to raise money and pack up lunches for the homeless. That opportunity, that spirit, that is Rutgers. And it always has been. This is a place with history. Rutgers was founded in 1766 by revolutionary thinkers in revolutionary times. 250 years later, Rutgers people are still making a difference. They're still coming up with revolutionary ideas and changing the world. And it all starts here. Rutgers really is the best thing that ever happened to me. To all of us. Rutgers.
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 Rutgers. Rutgers.
Revolutionary.
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 Revolutionary for 250 years.
So that's my little movie about making movies in the context of higher ed marketing. On a personal note, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're feeling safe. And I hope you feel, as I do, this sense of community in the world of higher ed. It's a remarkable place we've chosen to live our lives. And I am, as I assume you are, incredibly grateful for the opportunity. All the best. Be well.